bowling, but I'm going to do this. So we went back, I rolled up my sleeves, we went back, and we fought, right through dinner. So you'll read in the internet stuff like Amy Chuo wouldn't let her children go to the bathroom. Anybody who's ever practiced piano with kids, you know that little kids will say, I'm thirsty, 5 minutes later, I'm hungry, 5 minutes later, I have to go to the bathroom. So after Lulu had been to the bathroom 5 times, I said, you don't need to go to the bathroom anymore, we're going to stay here. So it really was not Guantanamo Bay. But I was just about to give up my self-work. It was getting worse and worse when suddenly Lulu's 2 hands came together. She did it. She started to play it. And we both held our breaths. She knew at the same moment I did to see if it would stick. And it did stick. And after that, Lulu just refused to leave the piano. She felt so much pride and joy. She couldn't believe that she could do it, that she sat there just for hours wanting to play it over and over again. And the reason I mention this story is because Lulu says a lot of mean things to me, but one very nice thing that she has said to me is, Mom, I remember that moment. I remember that moment. So now in high school, when she's doing a chemistry test or something and she has a block and feels like, I can't do this, she told me, I remember that moment. I remember I have felt this way before. I have been sure that I couldn't do something, but by not giving up, by sticking with it, I discovered that I could. And that is a life lesson. So that's principle 1. I really believe there is nothing better for building confidence than realizing that you can do something you were absolutely sure you couldn't. Principle 2, give your child more and more choice and freedom as they get older, but not when they're very young. Here, I think that the Western approach and the Chinese approach have opposite problems. I think that generally speaking, I don't mean everybody, but generally speaking, I think parents in the West tend to give their kids too much choice, whereas traditional Chinese parents give their children too little choice. And so my own view, again, this may not be for everybody, is that it's best to start with the Asian approach when their kids are very young. Because when they're very young, they're not mature enough to make the best decision for themselves. If you tell a 4-year-old, pursue your passions and your choice, it's going to be playing video games all day. A lot of people have wondered, what happened to your husband? My husband is Jewish American, and he was raised in the exact opposite way. 1960s style, his parents were wonderful, but like hippies, just play, be creative, you don't have to do anything. You don't even have to wear clothes. Just, free spirit. But my husband supported the strict parenting, and one of the reasons is that he is actually somebody who wished he had been forced to do more things when he was very young. He remembers, his whole family is very gifted at music, but he remembers when he was little, his mother gave him a choice when he was about 7. Do you want to learn to play an instrument, or do you want to play with your friends? And of course he chose to play with his friends. So he, doesn't read notes, can't play an instrument, and he also wishes that someone had forced him to speak a different language. It's so much easier when you're very young. So I forced Lulu and Sophia to learn Mandarin, so that they're pretty close to bilingual, at least for a while. And that is something they don't complain about, because now all of their friends, everybody wants to learn Chinese now. Everybody's with the language tapes. And it's so much easier. Now, on the other hand, I think that Asian societies tend to give their children too little choice. I mean, have you ever noticed, why do all Asians only play the piano, violin, or cello? It's silly, that just creates so much competition for those instruments. I mean, why not the French horn? I mean, I chose those instruments too. And same with careers. In our new book, The Triple Package, one thing we say is there's so many great things about the immigrant mentality, the work ethic, the grit, the determination, but one possibly negative thing, is that immigrants' parents often have a very narrow view of what counts as success. And that's because they feel insecure, they want stability, so they want you to be a doctor, something respectable. I'm in a room, you know, my mom always wanted me to be a doctor. You know, to sort of respectable things. Now that's fine if that's what you want to do, but when I went to law school, this was in 1984, my mom cried. She wept. Back then, no Asians went to law school, and you know they didn't have a strong, positive view of the law or lawyers, and she was so upset and disappointed with me. They've come to change their minds, but so this is something we talk about in the triple package, that there's too few choices offered to children, like a narrow view. That could be a real source of intergenerational conflict between immigrants and their children and grandchildren, because you know, as you stay here, the longer you stay here, the more you don't want to do just those 3 things that you seem to be allowed to do. Okay, so anyway, principle 3. Encourage your kids to question authority. I think this is a weakness of traditional Asian parenting. Respect for your elders is a value I love. I always try to instill that in Sophia and Lulu. You know, respect your elders. But I think too much of the Confucian emphasis on obedience, you know, I think of Jingguai, you know, and deference to authority, I think that that can stifle creativity and independent thinking and leadership skills. When I first went to Harvard Law School, I actually had a very difficult time. I just wanted to listen to the professor and memorize everything that he said. And so when I was called on and they'd say, Miss Chua, what do you think of this opinion? Do you think it's a good opinion or a bad opinion? I had no view. I thought, I was trained to think you have to respect the judge. So it took me a long time to change my way of thinking. When we were growing up, Brian will probably relate, we ate dinner really fast. My mom was a great cook. We ate great food really fast so that we can then go do our homework and everything else. My husband was raised totally differently. At dinner, they would talk about current events. They would ask children, like 6 or 7, what do you think of the Iraq War or, you know, Ukrainian situation, or what do you think of the Tea Party? And that is something that we did incorporate into our parenting, because I thought, you know, it's a positive thing to kind of treat your children early on as having views that are valuable. Principle 4. Always emphasize to your children the absolute primary importance of honesty, morality, and character. In this cutthroat, super competitive world, everybody's worried about grades, everybody's worried about getting to the best colleges, getting those scores. This, I think, is really easy to overlook. But I think this point is more important than anything else. There are more and more kids out there getting caught for cheating or plagiarizing. At Lulu's high school alone, like 1 a week almost, or 1 a month. And I think this is especially a problem with parents who are very, very ambitious for their children and put a lot of pressure on their children. That can be very dangerous because sometimes they just feel so stressed that they'll do things, and those kinds of things are devastating for the future. So I think it's important, even though you want your kids to do well, to constantly convey that nothing is worth the price of your integrity. Nothing. The final point that I want to end with is happiness. If you know, a lot of people kind of misunderstand the way I think. They're like, Amy Cho doesn't care about happiness. She only cares about, achievement. Well, again, I think that the answer here is to find the best balance between East and West. There are so many books about how to be happy. There's all over, how-to guides. And a lot of people in the United States assume that there is a trade-off between happiness or achievement. Okay, so it's a black and white. And I think that's a false dichotomy. It's, do you want achievement? Do you want your kids to achieve, or do you want them to be happy? Well, if you put it like that, of course I'm going to pick happiness. But I disagree with that. It's much more complicated. People forget that there is something deeply fulfilling and happiness-producing in achieving excellence. Doing whatever. It can be ballet, or playing the saxophone, or photography, or cooking. there's a sense of pride and joy in knowing that you pushed yourself to the next level. I was surprised that Lulu, we fought so many years, 10 years about violin practice. And in the end, at the battle hymn, as I said, you can quit, I give up, you know, I want you to be happy. But she ended up writing her college application essay about the violin and the Mendelssohn Concerto. On the other hand, again, this is part of the triple package, there can be dangers in excessively harsh Asian parenting. This Confucian idea of self-improvement, that you can always be better, can sometimes be experienced as this feeling that parents are telling their kids, you're never good enough. You're never good enough yet. We quote Vera Wang in our book. She's the famous fashion designer. She had a very strict father. And she said, you know, all I can think about is like, I'm never good enough yet. So there are dangers too. So my advice, finally, last piece, is that children learn by example. If they see you working hard, if they see, you know, what you sacrifice, they will learn. But remember, if they don't see you having fun and being happy, if they never see their parents enjoying themselves and being happy, they won't know how to be happy themselves. So teach them how to be happy by example as well. Anyway, my time is up and I wanted to save some space for questions. So I wanted to conclude with one of the main themes of both Battle Hymn of the Tiger Mother and the Triple Package. And I think you guys are really going to get this. And that is, the books are both in a funny way about generational decline, family decline. There's a Chinese saying that says, prosperity can never last 3 generations. So you have the first generation, the immigrants, and I know some of you are immigrants. That generation, it's not just Chinese, it's almost any immigrants. They are incredibly hardworking. They save all of their money. They focus on their children's education. They don't have that much fun. Don't drink a lot of cocktails. The second generation, that is my generation, because I was born here, and probably many of you, tends to do pretty well professionally. Partly because of the hard work that our parents taught us, you know, partly that immigrant mentality, but we don't work quite as hard, we don't save quite as much, we have a little more fun, a little softer, a little harder to be strict with our kids. The third generation is my daughter's generation. And this, in my book, Battle Hymn, I say, that's the generation I lose sleep over every night. Because this generation, due to no fault of their own, they grew up with privilege. Because of the hard work of their grandparents and parents, they have comfortable homes, they're used to 2 cars, their friends all have designer clothes, every form of technology, Facebook, iPod, everything. And it is very difficult to achieve the same result when they grow up with privilege, because they are not afraid of their survival. It's so hard for me to get my children just to make their bed, to do chores. And what I said in the book is, that generation is headed right straight for decline, well, not on my watch. And as it happened, I couldn't quite do it. I half did it. It is an uphill battle. And part of the problem is that I can't pretend that I was a poor immigrant, because I'm not a poor immigrant. When my father said, Amy, you have to get straight A's, I looked at him, he was working till 3 in the morning every night. My dad wore the same pair of shoes for 8 years. So he didn't have to explain to him anything. I got it. I understood why I had to get straight A's. But when I say this to Lulu, you know, B+ is not good enough. She says, why? Why? Why not? And it's actually a pretty good question. You know, it's worth thinking about. And I say, because I said so, you know. But I don't have the same authenticity. So, but anyway, I am still committed to the struggle, because I just don't want to raise a spoiled, entitled kid. I don't think it's good for society, and I don't think it's good for children. I was just at a dinner, last thing, with Cai Guoqiang. He's the gunpowder artist that did the fireworks for the Beijing Olympics. He's also from Quanzhou, so he speaks our dialect too. And he's famous now, and he said, what's one piece of advice? What did you make Lulu do that I should do with my daughters? And I said, I made her take out the garbage. I did, and I really believe in that. You know, we all wanted to save time for the homework, and let me do all the work. We need time to practice violin or do homework. I think that was a mistake. I think it's important to teach them the importance of not being entitled and the importance of being able to take out the garbage. So to close, a lot of people have asked me, what is Battle Hymn of the Tiger really about? And it's quite a complex book. At one level, it's about maternal love. Whatever our backgrounds, we all want to raise strong, happy, self-reliant children. But we just have very different views about how to do that. And the book is also, this is the Tiger Mom book, and a lot of people miss this. I mean, I think the Western press totally didn't get it. But in some ways, this book is a celebration of rebellion. I disclose at the end of my book that my father, who is my idol, my father, the strictest dad in the world, I disclosed that he was a rebel. He was actually the black sheep in his family. And I don't know if Brian knows this, my mom and my dad eloped to this country. And he was completely cut off from his family. And Lulu, of course, my rebel, is the heroine of my book. And finally, the book has a very rebellious tone. In fact, my mother, when she read the Tiger Mom book, she loved it. She was crying. But she said, Amy, no Chinese person would ever write this book. It's so immodest. You know, the loudest duck gets shot. I've definitely been a loud duck, I think. And finally, and with this I'll end, here is what I think the book is most centrally about. The book is about what does it mean to live life to its fullest? And how can we raise our children so that they can live life to its fullest? Thank you so much. It's been an honor, and I'm happy to take questions.
Anybody have questions? It's not every night we have a New York Times best-selling author who's Chinese Filipina. I guess you've all accepted everything she said, right? Oh, you do have a question.
What do you think is harder, teaching at Yale Law School?
The question was, what do you think is harder, teaching at Yale Law School or being a parent? Easiest question ever. There is nothing harder than being a parent. Nothing. That's what I think. I think that is the teaching at Yale Law School is a piece of cake compared to parenting. Yes, sir.
I guess in age, technology has been like, kids in company when they're, C++, this type of computer stuff and everything, It's a toss-up, like how many hours a day they use the computer, or how much you really want to, because you want to stifle them also if their brain is like, don't do computer, you can't watch movie, you can't watch TV, like that type of thing. So you have to balance it out, but what's your thoughts about that?
So the question is about technology. How much time do you let your kids do the computer, watch videos? And I have to say, this is my biggest struggle, especially with both my kids, but especially my younger one. I would say we had arguments. I was always negotiating because, I can see that this new generation, they actually do get a lot from the internet. I think that my daughters are very well informed about world events, so it's not all negative, but what I try to do is put strict limits. For example, at the dinner, no texting, no phone. Some things take away. At the night, in the evening, it used to cut off the texting at 10 o'clock. I would say, Lulu was a great bargainer. This one is the best bargainer. I'd say, okay, you come home from school, you can have an hour of downtime to do whatever. And she'd say, 2 hours. But we would then, so I literally fought for every hour. Even in the summer, I would say, you have to sit down and just read a book the old-fashioned way. I don't care, I've been taking away all this stuff. But I negotiated everything, and it's probably different for different kids. If you're good at math, there's a lot of very educational stuff too. And it's also very hard to control. You know, like I would have to go check. I mean, there's all these different things that they can be doing. So I think that's a very big struggle.
I'm just curious, since your book came out, The Tiger Mom, how did it influence the way you raise Lulu especially, and your relationship with her? Because there seems to be a lot of focus on how you are as a mother and how you're raising your kids, and I'm sure all her friends probably know about it. I'm just curious, did it improve your relationship with Lulu and the way you raised her?
Well, it's a great question. I would say that when the controversy hit, and I have to tell you, nobody in my family, not my publisher, not my agent, no one expected this controversy. If you read the book, it's actually quite funny, and at the end my sister gets leukemia and has a bone marrow transplant. It's quite a much more subtle book. So if you read it to the end, it's really not that controversial. But I remember a week before publication, Lulu said to me, you know, Mom, no one's going to read this book because, you know, you're not a famous person and nobody would care about your memoir. So we were completely unprepared for this huge explosion. My email address was available. I mean, I didn't have a website. I didn't do Facebook or Twitter. I didn't have any way to control it. So it was a very difficult 2 months. I have to credit my mother. I mean, part of me just, I wanted to just crawl into bed and just like, I forget it. But you know, it's like the grit that my parents, you just have to go out and fight. You have to go out and explain yourself. And I can't go on TV, you know, but you know, my parents are, you never give up. You have to, but to your question, I was so worried because their ages were very fragile and I had just come out of this tough stage with Lulu. And I was afraid. I was really, at one point I thought, because of all this publicity, is my family going to fall apart now? You know, I would say I just got incredibly lucky. Lulu, there was this interview with NBC, and they took my 2 daughters into different rooms, and we only agreed, we said no media for the kids, but only one interview, the Today Show. But I didn't know they were going to take Lulu into a separate room, and they asked her, they're like, we know you've had a lot of problems with your parents, and your mother especially. How do you think you're going to raise your kids? And I didn't know this, and I was thinking, oh no, what is she going to say, you know? And Lulu thought about it, and she said, you know, I had a lot of rough moments with my mom, but now that I think about it, if she hadn't raised me the way she did, I wouldn't be the person I am, and I wouldn't like that. So I think I'm going to be a strict mom too. So I couldn't believe it. And Sophia wrote this piece in the New York Post that was a defense that kind of really changed the conversation. So we got very, very lucky. Friends and community, the school, you know, there were some hard moments for sure. But in terms of changing my own parenting, I would say it didn't actually change the way I'm very stubborn. I had already changed my parenting at the end of the book. When she rebelled, that's when I said, she needs more choice. You want to drop violin? Okay. She wanted to play tennis. You want sleepovers? Okay. We'll strike a compromise. But the one place I would not compromise is in academics. I was like, these are my family's values, and this is one place I will not budge. So we had a balance, but that was all before the controversy.
Yeah, first, need to disagree on something. Your book, I read it last night. I was mesmerized with it. I couldn't put it down. Finished at 4 in the morning. So it's well written. I would encourage everybody to read it.
Thank you.
A couple of questions in terms of parenting. What are the odds of producing a Steve Jobs or a Bill Gates using the Tiger Mom system or the Western system? And the corollary question is that if really the common denominator is the strength of the family, it's one thing with the Asian community is the strength of the family, how supportive it is. Maybe it's not the mom being a tiger mom, but it's probably the family support system.
Great. Well, first of all, I do think that being a tiger mom, when I say that I'm a proud tiger mom, I don't mean that it's the only good way to parent. I teach at Yale Law School, and we have so many brilliant students. And I can tell you, they come from all different kinds of parents. Some super lenient, you know, others very strict, others have no parents at all. So there are many ways to get to the same spot. And having a strong family obviously helps in many, many ways, although, you know, the triple package actually shows that people who have adversity in their lives, who have lost a parent, who have some problems in their childhood, often have this insecurity that creates a kind of drive and motivation. But I think the interesting question, his first question was, do you think this tiger parenting thing is likely to produce a Steve Jobs or a Bill Gates? This is the creativity question. And this goes to my principle number 2 that I was talking about. And this is what we say in the triple package. I actually think, and I'm not an expert, this is just my own view, I think the best possible thing for creativity is combining the discipline and the work ethic and the focus that tiger parenting can create. Combining that with a bit of rebellion. That's the questioning authority thing. I think if you can get those two things, because if you don't have one or the other, you know, I think a lot of people romanticize creativity. The idea is you give your child a saxophone and amazing jazz will come out. You know, but before you could come up with Einstein's theory of relativity, you need to be able to multiply. I mean, really well. You need to know the basics. And Steve Jobs and Bill Gates both had enormous discipline and work ethic and resilience. I mean, they had the basics down. So I think you want that rebellion, that like ability to say, you know, I reject the whole system. And that's what I meant. I think the Asian traditional, just stay inside the box, like think like this, that I think is not so great for innovation and creativity. So if there's a way to combine, I think that would be best. The question is, when will the daughters write books about the mother? No, not right now. That's a good, yeah, that's an interesting question. And I often wonder what they'll say. Thank you.
Thank you. That was my older brother, actually. Thank you for your enlightening talk, for your words of wisdom, for your inspiring memoir. I also read Battle Hymn yesterday. It's a wonderful read. I've read World on Fire. Her books are actually being raffled today, so an extra incentive to buy a raffle ticket. But we do have a plaque to present to Amy Chua. It says, in honor of your community service and fostering collaborative efforts among Chinese professionals, Philippine Chinese American Medical Association proudly presents the Community Service Award to Amy Chua. With our distribution of award plaques to various organizations. So I'm going to hand out a plaque to a representative, if not the president, of the following 6 organizations that we're very honored to have tonight as our guests. The first organization I'd like to call up on stage is the Chinese American Medical Society. If the president or the representative could come up to take the plaque. This organization to be awarded a plaque is the Organization of Chinese Americans. The president or representative could please come up on stage.
Please come up, please, our Executive VP. Executive VP.
Award is the Association of Chinese American Physicians. Please come up on stage. Organization to be awarded is the Federation of Chinese Medical Society. Big round of applause. Organization to be awarded a plaque is the Chinese American Independent Physicians Association. Please come up on stage. Big round of applause. These organizations is very different from each other. The next organization to get an awarded plaque is the Federation of Chinese Medical Society Foundation. Please come up on stage. Representatives tonight. And now I'd like to present the awardee for the Lifetime Service Award to Dr. Edwina Ko. Dr. Edwina Ko is one of the founders of the Philippine Chinese American Medical Association. Her unselfish devotion and numerous contributions to the association include initiating the newsletter since 1993, recruiting new members, promoting talented youth, networking among members, and being a top fundraiser. She served as the association president from 1999 to 2000, being the first two-term president. She worked with Dr. Erlinda Koo to start the Liu Xiuhan Scholarship in 2004. She also serves as liaison and developed the relationships with other Chinese associations that we have present here today. Dr. Ko is currently retired, having practiced as Chief of Obstetric Anesthesia and Assistant Professor of Clinical Anesthesiology at Weill Cornell University Medical Center. And she was an attending anesthesiologist at New York Presbyterian Hospital. This year, our Lifetime Service Award goes to Dr. Edwina Ko. And she will give us a few words of wisdom from herself as well.
Thank you very much. I'm not prepared to give a speech. She just asked me to do it. But anyway, thanks a lot. Thank you for the PCMA. I'm one of the co-founders. And I'm glad that after all these years, this is the 20th. This is the 20th. Yeah, this is the 20th year already. So I know. Look at that. We have a lot of people now coming here, and I'm very happy that we started and the association is getting bigger and bigger. So hopefully it will be stay the same. Okay. And thank you for this gift, which is Lifetime Service Award. I don't want to spend my whole life doing the PCMA. It's a lifetime. Anyway. Okay. Yeah, this is my award. I want to get, first of all, I want to thank my son, husband who every time I'm here to take pictures, very supportive. Now the other thing is I want to call the other person who helped me with the journal, and is Dr. Mark Ryan sitting here. With the journal. So lately I've been giving him more work, so that he can take over, then I can retire. Okay, Mark. This is Mark Ryan thing. I thought. Well, I have something for you. I see here. Now we do have something for Mark. I found it. It's here. So Mark Ryan is opening his own gift. It's even wrapped. Meal, just one. When you have a chance, look at the journal. That's the work of art, Deborah Club of Brian. He wants to ask for next year if you want to submit more articles so we can include you in our journals. That would be great. Now at this point, we'll allow you to enjoy the gourmet meal, and then make sure you eat lots of food, and then we will do some dancing. Friends and family.
When I compliment her, she won't believe me. It's so sad to think that she don't see what I see. But every time she asks me, do I look okay? I say, when I see your face, it's not a, and when you smile, the whole world stops and stares for a while. She's so beautiful, and I tell her every day. Oh, you know, I'd never ask you to change. If perfect's what you're searching for, then just stay the same. So
Yes.
Oh, you today? It's your society. You can do it.
Around 7:30, we're gonna have a special dance show for you. So please enjoy your dip. Hold them so you can get some tickets. Again, we got an iPad and we got. Samsung flat screen TV. We have the Chinese antique base. So you have to get some time later on before your master design. So $1 per ticket and 3 tickets. Again, with yours here, I would like to call on people's attention on the other side, and please have your seat. And
Please join me here on stage. Dr. Brian O. Young, Dr. Alfonso Chen, Dr. Jorge Chen, Dr. Anita Chen, Dr. Adina Cook, Dr. Gregory Chen, and Dr. Mickey Yu.
Dr. Anita Chan, please step this way. Dr. Alfonso. Dr. Alfonso Chan, please come to the podium. Please join us. Dr. Mickey Yu, we would like to see you. Dr. Turato, battle him with a tiger mother. They have the empire and the triple package. All our values summarized right here. This will be signed personally by Amy Chan, Professor Amy Chan. Chua. Everyone's Chan. Signed by Professor Amy Chua.
sign it for you. So again, that's another prize that you would like to have. It's a nice set. And also we have the design. I guess you guys are having a good time, and again we have another number for you. It's a wedding dance, all right? very wonderful dance. Again, let's give them a...
We have prepared for you because this is our 20th anniversary. So we prepared highlights of our 20 years of service to the organization. So it was just while you're enjoying your lobster dinner and of course gourmet Chinese pantok, you're eating, while you're enjoying highlights of our 20 years of service. Illinois, and then he later worked together at St. Charles Rehab, and then again St. Charles. He's double boarded in neurology and physiatry. Neuro rehab. That's Dr. K. That's one of our new members. And joining us is his beautiful wife, the gorgeous Dr. Lelaine K. She's going to head our social committee effective now. She's now in charge of our social glamour committee, Lelaine. Lelaine completed her medical degree also at UST, also Tomasian. And she trained at the University of Illinois, currently practicing as family physician, family practice attending at Brookhaven Medical Center. Believe it or not, they're expecting their first grandchild. Can you imagine? There's something wrong here, right? Their first grandchild. So we were at the shower. The daughter, Kina, is also, I hope, joining.
Kina is in her second year of dermatology residency at she graduated. She did her undergrad at University of Pennsylvania. Then she went to NYU School of Medicine for medical school.
Thank you. When she has her baby, she'll join us. Next on the list is my brother, Erwin, Dr. Ting. Dr. Ting is also graduate UST. He is a psychiatrist who completed his training also at NYU Hospital, and he's currently a psychiatrist attending at the Governor's Hospital, NYC. Okay, his beautiful wife, Gina, also our recruit. Gina is a graduate also of University of Santo Tomas, completed her residency training in pediatrics at the Beth Israel Medical Center, and she specialized in allergy immunology, and they're here with their 3 beautiful kids, Gianna, Nat, and Gabe. And last but not the least, Dr. Benson Anghai. Dr. Anghai is a graduate also of University of Santo Tomas. That's the best school, sorry, the only school. And he completed his training, rehab medicine, University of Washington, and currently attending physiatrist at Stony Brook, and the assistant professor, Stony Brook University, Department of Orthopedic Surgery. So we have in this room a whole lot of physiatrists. Brian, can you imagine? Where do you find all these physiatrists, right? Okay.
We're looking for Dr. Frank Chow. Okay, now we have a new member, new resident. No, this is the attendant, young attendant. I keep thinking he's a resident. I keep thinking he's my medical student. I mean, Dicky Chow. Now Frank is the new attendant, and he will be our new member. The whole family. So after this introduction, they're going to sign the application form and pay it. I'm trying to recruit them to be a PCMA member. Now that I find out the son is now in Cornell attending anesthesiologist, right? See, look how handsome he is. Still bachelor, yes or no? Maybe. Still bachelor. Okay? Any more questions? How old are you? Huh? How old are you?
35.
35. So, 35. So any ladies from 18 to 34, raise your hand. The parents are here to screen you out. Okay, say something. They don't want to say something. I embarrass them. Here.
Thank you so much. Pleasure to be here. Especially stay next to you. You know, I'm not today. This morning I cracked the egg. I got double your no, it's okay.
Oh, that's fun. Yeah. Well, we are good friends for so many years. So I'm glad the whole family is here, and I want to introduce them to the PCMA community. So hopefully after this, they will go to Dr. Session Chan and pay the bill, pay the membership fee. Session, where are you? Oh, there she is. They're going to pay their fee, membership. Okay. All right. Any more new members that we can introduce?
For anyone who wants to join, there's different committees, finance, social, education, whatever committee. There is a membership form in the very back of the journal. So please fill that up. And also we're collecting to update our directory. So please also, before you leave, just drop by and give us your updated information. And now, what we want to do is we have a special surprise. Nobody knows about this. We have a special, tonight is a very special night because we would like to dedicate for her hard work and lifetime achievement with Pakama. We would like to honor Dr. Ko, Dr. Edwina Ko. We have a special gift for her unending, tireless hard work, dedication, all the time she put into the journal, into organizing everything A to Z. That is Dr. Ko. She is the Pakama symbol and founder. Okay, so on behalf of the Pakama board and the Pakama officers, we would like to present this award to you. We hope you enjoy it.
What am I going to say? Patricia, you cannot leave me all by myself here. I'm not going to give a speech. I just want to take this home, and that's it. Yeah. Okay. All right. So we want to do that. All right. We're going to introduce all the VIPs per table. So, moving, we start with number 1. If you're a VIP, stand up. We don't have to introduce, just stand up. See, everybody's shy. I think Patricia has to introduce. Okay, Patricia, the president.
Okay. Just to honor, unfortunately, we couldn't bring everyone up to the stage. Everybody is a VIP, of course. But because we couldn't bring up everyone to the stage, we just want, if you could just stand and be acknowledged. The table, the CAMS table.
Okay, CAMS table. She has to look for her eyeglasses. CAMS table, Dr. Danny Fong. Dr. Danny Fong, I just saw him. I think he went to the restroom or something. Dr. Victor Chang, Dr. Mingdale Henry Chang, Peggy Sheng. Okay, that's Dr. Victor Chang. How about Danny Fong? I just saw him. There's Victor Chang. You want to come over here? Come over here. Let's stand up. Warren Chin, Peggy Shen. Dr. Warren Chin. These are the camp group. Who is Warren Chin? Warren Chin, stop talking to your wife. You have a lot of time at home. Come on, come on. Stand up. Stand up. So, he doesn't want to stand up, he gets gone. Dr. Weinstein, just raise your hand. Okay. Table, what table is that? Table 4. We just want you to stand up and show everybody who you are. The past president of Chinese American Medical Society. Come. Okay. Now the FCMS. FCMS is now also Dr. Warren-Chi, right? Dr. Warren-Chi, you're also FCMS president now? Okay, can I say something? Can you be the PCMS president next year? You have to join us with to file an application form to become PCMS member, okay? It's Federation Foundation, right? FCMS Foundation. Foundation is Dr. David Chu. Dr. David Chu. The famous plastic surgeon of NYU, Dr. David Chu. Very world-renowned, very famous. Okay. ACAP, who is the president now? Is it Silly? Where's the ACAP table? Are you the president now or Gary Cole? Both of you, stand up, please. So you're the past and present president, right? Is there any more president in your table? Oh yeah. What's your name? Jackson. Oh, okay. All right. Good. Now the OCA, Organization of Chinese Americans. Just stand up. Who is the president? Vincent Yang? Our past president? How about Roscoe? Bill Kong? Who's the new president now? OCA group. Now, PCA, all the Cole, Johnson Cole, Helen Cole, Nancy Cole, Fred Cole, Rosemary Cole, all of you. Who is the president now? Oh, there. Okay, they're raising their hand. That's the table. And anybody from Kaifa? We do raffle. Don't forget we have number 1 prize is the iPad. And number 2 is a screen what is the TV? Number 2 is a flat screen. Yeah, Samsung. Oh, it's there. It's hidden there. There's a television here. Yeah, you pick one first. The president of the Ghana pick one first. Okay.
We're going to start the raffle. So those who have the ticket, the first number is 377573. 37.
This is the time code. Don't break it, okay?
Okay, smile. Ah, beautiful. Cool.
Oh, we have to announce the prize first. Oh, yeah, I told you.
Maribel, I know you like this. The Lancome Beauty Kit.
Number is 377554.
377554. Okay, in the meantime, we're going to draw another ticket. Is that correct?
608-581.
Five 508-637. 508-637. It's fixed. It's fixed.
Let your grandpa give you the award. Huh? There. Hey, look, that's for the girl. No, this is yours. This is yours. This is yours. That's better than anybody. Did the grandpa pick up the grandson raffle? He got all excited running around. What's this one? So we're going to you pick one. You pick one.
Three 77514.
Necklace?
Okay, the winning number is 377517. 377517.
This is from Jones, New York.
Oh, good, winning.
Oh, can you send your mom up here? How about put it in your ear? And this cookies, candies. Oh, this is
8653. 508653.
508603. 508603.
Okay, the next one is this. Oh, the third one. You want this one? Okay, just take this out. Congratulations, very good. Okay. the next one.
The lucky number is 377633. 377633.
They have a lot of their horses.
377636.
Oh, you're the winner again. Okay. Another horse and candy.
508656. Any takers?
Oh, 508-627. 508-627. 508-627. 508-627. No more.
Oh, yeah, there is.
Now the prices are getting higher and higher, getting better and better, more expensive. Okay, this is 508571. 508571. Okay, together. How many horses you got already? She keep getting the horse. Huh? What you can give it? Yeah, you. That's lucky. You have many horses. So you get 3 horses. Amy to Professor Amy to give the prize. Okay, Amy, you want to pick the raffle? And then
Uh, 377638.
Okay, the next one. Okay, we give away all the horses, but we have a nice one here. The crystal horse. This is the Waterford crystal horse. So let's see who is the big winner. 508655. 508655. 508655. The Waterford horse. Oh my God, this is really good luck. Oh, here's your box. Hello.
Thank you.
This is antique 14th century Chinese blue and white vase. 508575. 508575. 508575. You always win something good. Every year you always get a big prize. Yeah. Turn around. Great. Now we have a $50 cash gift certificate for Target store. 508618. 508618. Oh yeah, physical therapist, right? Physical therapist, right? Yeah. Is your home here? Yeah. Pick one ticket. Pick one ticket. Is this the last one now? Is this the last one? This one and the iPad. Let's see, who is going to pick the ticket? Get Emil.
377 6 2 8. It's a smart TV.
Dr. Dicky and Marie Chow and Frank Chow.
It's good for a lifetime.
Whole family here. Marie and Frank. Marie, let's go collect membership fee from them. Huh? Right, because you're so lucky. See, if you become a member, you always win. Right?
Thank you very much.
People carry home, so come over and carry. You don't want your mom to carry, right? Yeah. Oh, by the way, you can see his resume at the back page. He's now an attending anesthesiologist at Cornell.
And I would just like to say that 35 years ago, Dr. Xiaoko gave me epidural, and I was a student at Cornell, and I gave birth to Frank.
Oh, now you're trying to tell me I'm so old already. But do you know at that time I'm only a young attending. I'm only 27 at that time. Right? No, he doesn't know. He was born.
Calling Professor Amy Chua. Calling Professor Amy Chua. Huh?
The last one. The last one for lucky. So the lucky one will have a picture taken with Amy Chua and also get the iPad. Big.
377623.
Oh, Vincent, that's your wife. She won now. What a good sign. Good thing you got it with her. Wait. Let me.
For Professor Amy Chua's contribution to the Chinese Society and to General Society in general, we would like to thank her very much and would like to give her the honorarium of undisclosed amount. It's too much, you can't handle it.
She might be disappointed when she goes home.
Dosha, right?
So say some Chinese, say 国语，讲国语。
No.
以前我講英文話哦，以前我講咱的話是菲律賓來啊，OK。你聽啊。
见多下大家人来 ，OK， 再见 ，OK， 谢谢。
This is much better.
他闽南话讲得不错。
Very good. That's it. Now eyeglasses.
Join dancing on DJ then. Thank
Let's wait for the cameras here. Everybody's still working to the dance. Everybody. More and 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, more left. 1, 2, 3, 4, 7, 8, right. Just follow them. Let's do it. Shoot. Down, down, do your dance, do your dance. Down, down, do your dance, do your dance. All right, Joe, come on. All right, this was the kids do it.
Everybody clap your hands.
Oh yeah,
clap,
come on.
Clap, clap.
1, 2,
one hop this time. Yeah. Come on. Chop, chop now, y'all. Turn it out. To the left first. Slide to the left. Slide to the right. Yeah. Yeah, do that stuff. Do it.
All right, we're going to take